Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Oh, it just records over it, I see.
Control the medium. We can control the context of presentation. Well, is there anybody on the receiving end? Reaching out for some kind of connection. Come on and watch these shows away.
Okay, we're on.
Oh, we're recording?
Yep.
Oh.
Can you hear? Can
Oh,
you
I
hear
can
the
hear.
levels? Are good?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Good.
It's golden.
All right, let's do this. This is our Cabin Fever podcast. This is the first episode. We are, what's the date?
It is 10/21?
21, the 21st?
The 22nd.
22nd, okay. So it's the
Of 2013.
2013, October 22nd, 2013. And
I think that's the perfect day to start something.
me too.
Yeah.
You're right.
If there's any day you're going to start something, why not October 22nd, 2013?
I feel like the entire time we've talked about doing a podcast, subconsciously,
Since January.
I was
we're
just gonna
planning
ask.
that was going to be our inaugural start.
that's right. So
And now it's 10 months later.
okay, little glitch that might happen. Yeah, 10 months. So, sorry, I'm gonna get a phone call.
Oh, how?
Wow.
Are we supposed to be professional or something?
Okay, so I'll put this away. Okay. So, what do you think it was? You came to me with a podcast idea.
Yes, I did.
So what was it you think?
It was listening to podcasts and just having a love for pretty much talk radio in general, specifically morning radio like Howard Stern, and then here in San Diego we had the Mikey Show and Dave Shelley and Chainsaw, and even before that when I was younger it was Jeff and Jer, and I mean I love listening to radio, and I love the fun conversations that come along with recording a radio show. And I've
Definitely.
always wanted to be a part of it, and now the technology is finally here to where
I'm sorry.
bitches be calling. Pick it up
Okay.
right on
All
the
right.
air,
Okay.
speakerphone.
Kara, what's up?
Are you at work?
No, we're hanging out with Sean. We're actually doing a podcast.
Oh, shit.
Why?
All right.
What's going on?
Kind of not in trouble, but I kind of just screwed myself over and really need to borrow money, like, right now.
Okay, hold on. All right, I gotta pause.
Pause.
Money, it's a gas.
Okay, we're back.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah. So,
Hello.
So we were talking about doing the podcast.
Right,
So it's
yeah.
basically like a love of podcast radio. So, what's your favorite podcasts?
My favorite podcast right now, I would definitely have to say Duncan Trussell Family Hour.
Mm-hmm.
Ari Shafir's Skeptic Tank, Your Mom's House with Christina Pazinski and Tom Segura, and of course Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah, Joe
Yes,
Rogan.
that's which is insane because it's like how I even got into listening to Joe Rogan was it was a YouTube clip talking about psychedelics because I was very interested in learning as much as possible about psychedelics, meaning, you know, LSD, DMT, psilocybin with magic mushrooms and all that good stuff. And I just got hooked.
Yeah.
Because it was just such a free-form, good, fun conversation. There weren't any commercial breaks. It wasn't beeping out the cuss words. It wasn't a censored conversation. And that just really, really appealed to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, well, you kept suggesting podcasts to me, and eventually I got around to listening to them, and it was the same thing. I think it was like listening to morning radio forever, and then taking a step back and like, wow, these people can just say whatever they want,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you just feel that much more connected to
Right.
to what's going on. So
Yeah.
that's why I was. You had told me about it, and then after a while, I started listening to podcasts, and then I was just like all into it about doing this one. So
Oh yeah,
so our podcast is called Cabin Fever.
it is Cabin Fever.
Um,
We are literally in my little cabin right now,
Yeah.
and in someone's backyard.
yeah, Sean lives in a bungalow.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I've got basically we're sitting in my living room, my kitchen, my bedroom, everything but the bathroom. Good thing that's a separate area, but yeah, it's all right here.
It's like one of those kits, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Basically,
a kit you
it's,
can
a,
put
it's a
together.
kit home.
Yeah, and then there's a. What's cool about his place is there you walk out the front door and there's like a deck that extends out, and there's even an old boat as decoration, and it reminds me of the Jungle Cruise. Like the first time I saw
Yeah,
it, that's
exactly.
what I thought. It looks like the Jungle Cruise, so it's a
Yeah, the
perfect
backyard's
setting.
really cool. It's got a lot of plants, a lot of trees, so and I'm basically in the middle of San Diego, kind of. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, SDSU area. It's not the nicest area, but where I'm at, it doesn't seem all that bad.
no, it's hidden away. I mean, we're in like
It's a
a little
little oasis, basically.
suburban
Yeah.
area, but it's definitely
Yeah.
like an oasis. And
Yeah.
I think, well, should we do some more introductions then?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Well, what about you?
Uh-huh.
I mean, with the radio and podcasting, like what? Obviously, I came to you, you know, looking for someone to do podcast with. I mean, what really
Yeah.
put you over the edge? Be like, hey, yeah, let's do this. Let's see what happens.
The first thing that put me over was listening to the Bone Zone
Yeah.
because it's just.
Oh, I forgot about the Bone Zone.
Yeah,
of
the
course,
Bone
Bone
Zone.
Zone is right up there, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, the Bone Zone is so wacky and just fun, and it was like, oh, I didn't even know about this kind of thing. Like people were just getting on microphones and dicking
Right.
around, so that was like a big push. And then slowly getting into Joe Rogan, and I think listening to more of his in-depth interviews with scientists and
Right.
other podcasters and stuff like that. Like it was very interesting. So, and then you and I got together and talked about it, like all the possibilities and imagination and stuff like that. So that was it. And then more recently, I started a music label, and I'm working on my first release. And I think doing that and really putting the energy into that made me want to just put my energy into more creative things. I think
It
that
gets
was like
those
really
creative juices flowing, right? And,
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking for out of this podcast, because I mean, my main chosen path is photography, and doing as much as I can with creatively with photography, and I'm really hoping that this podcast will help me creatively in that aspect, and then vice versa with my photography will translate into, you know, during like a verbal creative thing that is podcasting.
hmm
Even though there's like a million out there, why not
Yeah, why
put
not?
another one in there?
Yeah.
Well, we both have our unique perspectives on life, but we do, you know, line up on, you know, quite a few issues, so it's perfect. We're basically the same age, born the same year, 1984, both born in December, so we're like minds, but still very much different.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of adventures.
Yeah, we've had a lot,
lot
of
of times to
adventures
bond.
together and a lot of adventures, you know, separately. So I
Mhm.
think we'll have a lot of fun and a lot of interesting things to like bring together, mold together into what is the Cabin Fever podcast.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about Cabin Fever, because we came up with it. I forget. Do you remember how we came with it, or you came up with it?
Well, being a photographer, there's a lot that goes with it besides just taking a photograph. I spend a lot of time on my computer and a lot of time alone, unfortunately, sitting at my computer editing photos, and I'm sitting in my little bungalow, my little cabin here, and the words cabin fever came to mind, because you know you get stuck
Right.
inside, you're in your own little world, you know, and it's a bizarre place to be sometimes. So it's
Yeah.
like I thought it was very fitting, especially even when it comes to just your whole aspect of being. Now I
Right.
just feel like I'm rambling. I don't feel like I'm
No.
hitting on the right
I
point
I
that
think
I'm trying to get to, but
No, I want to know. I forgot where the name came from, but yeah, we've discussed that as a result. Like, we thought cabin fever was a good name, but like, I think our goal we've talked about is like that it becomes something else. Like,
Yes,
we are in our late 20s, you
Yeah.
know, working on 30.
Yeah.
Kind of set in our ways, in our behavior.
Yeah.
And looking for something else, just in whether it's like creative inspiration, whether it's just getting out and trying new things, like. This could be a good jump off point, and then who knows, we could take people with us on the way.
Well, the older you get, you actually get to learn who you are as a person. When you're younger, especially when you're in your early 20s, you're trying to please other people. You're trying to figure out where you fit in this crazy world, trying to find good friends to cultivate the things that you want to do in life and help them, in return. And once you start, growing as an individual, you can start branching out and finding the people that you really connect with, and the people that are going to bring, good positive energy into your life, and you could, do the same. So it's like, I want to be able to start cultivating, bringing more people, like-minded type people together, and, why not have a good open conversation, like essentially what a podcast is an open conversation that anyone can come and listen in, take what they want from it, and hopefully go off and spread those seeds of goodness.
Yeah.
That's definitely what I get from, Joe Rogan's podcast, specifically when he's talking to, intellectual people, scientists, philosophers, artists in general. I mean, it's amazing.
I like it. I like the idea of talking about change and then having a forum that we can come back, because you and I can come back here and discuss the week,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then, like, I don't know. I think it should be said that we're both single.
Yo,
And
right.
we
Single, ready to mingle.
single as shit. Oh, damn it. Can't get too close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ladies.
Single as shit. But we also don't have, a lot of responsibilities that other people in their late 20s
Yeah, that's
might.
very true. Yeah.
No families.
Well, we have families,
but we're not orphans.
you're dead to me, Mom and Dad.
But, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't have
We
kids.
got some time.
We don't have kids that we have to raise and spend time with. And we don't have a wife that we have to be around, or girlfriend we have to be around.
We're not sentenced.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
everything. Which makes it that much easier, I think, for us. But it doesn't mean I'd still want perspective from everyone. People that are dealing with. I think it should be, it should be easier as we go along, but to be more honest and open on the air.
Oh, definitely.
Because for me, I think that'd be the hardest thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that's what's kept me from like really pulling the trigger on it. I think earlier, it's just like I kept thinking, how am I gonna be? How am I gonna be? And then we went to the river. I don't know. After the river trip, we really talked
the
about
guys
it.
trip we went on. Yeah.
No, the one you and
the
I
most
did
recent
recently.
one. Yes. Yeah.
Just being, forget the microphone.
Right.
Just
Right.
chilling.
Yeah.
It's cool though. It's almost like you're talking to a third person.
Mm-hmm.
An
Yeah.
omniscient point of view.
But yeah, I was right there in the same boat. It's like, what am I gonna put out there? How much am I willing to reveal about myself? And it's like in my mind, I'm thinking, I'll reveal everything. What does it matter if
Right.
it's out there? Who cares? Let's just be truthful. But you do have to be a little apprehensive when just revealing every little, crazy thought that might come into your mind, or
Yeah. It's
know,
one thing
whatever.
to hear it by yourself or think about it by yourself.
yeah,
It's another thing when you got another person sitting there
Yeah.
asking you questions about it. You're like, well,
yeah.
do I want to talk about that?
Yeah, exactly.
Do I want to do this
Exactly.
or that? That's why I really look forward to, and we plan on having guests in,
Oh, absolutely.
whether
Yeah.
they be friends.
Yeah, we're going
or-
to try to utilize Skype, so we'll be able to do long-distance conversations. We definitely want to get a third mic, maybe even a fourth mic, if we can, figure out this technology, and, bring our friends in and interview them, have them, play fun games with us, just a fun conversation
Mhm.
that we normally would have probably, with our friends having a couple of beers, which, by the way, we are enjoying, and we're going to try to do this, try a different beer with each podcast. And tonight, Matt brought some Deschutes River Ale. It's from Bend, Oregon. And they've been around since 1988, and it's
Oh,
pretty
wow.
damn good.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's a
damn
lighter.
good.
lighter beer.
Yeah, I
lighter
like
ale.
it. I really like it.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's a good jump off.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Also, big hookah enthusiast, so I'm gonna throw that in. I'm gonna bring that every week.
Oh,
it's just
yes,
part of what we
for
do.
sure.
Usually, like when Sean and I hang out, there's always hookah involved. So
Yeah.
it's a great conversation piece. Brings people together. I'm obsessed with it. I nerd out over it. So it's another good thing to talk about.
And so, what year did we meet? Was it 2005 or 6?
Oh, that's a question.
I think it was 2006.
Yeah.
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 I think you're right.
And
yeah,
we've been smoking hookah together since 2006.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's been a while. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, talk about owning your own business. Talk about well, Sean's a photographer.
Yeah, I'm a
And you
photographer.
weren't always a
and-
photographer.
Yeah, not always. It's always been in my wheelhouse. It's always been something I was aspiring to do. I mean, obviously, I've had other jobs. I've worked at Costco. I've delivered groceries for Vons.com. But yeah,
Blue
that was
collar
always
work.
a side job of mine was doing photography. And one day it turned out to be. Well, let's just say in 2010 I got a DUI
Mhm.
and I lost my job delivering groceries for Vons.com,
Mm-hmm.
and I was pretty much left with pursuing my dream job, which was photography, or trying to find another shitty job that I didn't enjoy doing. And
It was
the
a catalyst.
yeah, it was a huge catalyst. I mean, having a DUI kind of puts a big roadblock in front of you for especially the kind of jobs you can pick up. And around that time in 2010, it just didn't seem like there's that many options out there. So I had this dream, this career, this thing that I was very passionate about and really enjoyed doing, and that was photography. And 2010 rolls around, get the DUI, and then it stirred something inside of me that I finally decided I'm just going to start pursuing what I really enjoy doing, and that's what I did. And I took free jobs, shitty jobs, things that I really didn't want to do. When it comes to photography, it's not as glamorous as some people think. It's not like I was like photographing models and making a shit ton of money or anything right away.
Yeah.
But yeah, slowly just building up my business, trying to learn advertising, pretty much just teaching myself to do everything that
Go ahead.
just teaching myself everything that it takes to run your own business, which is very hard. It's frustrating. It's strenuous. It's a lot of alone time. It's a lot of reading. It's troubleshooting. It's fun and exciting, but it can get a little.
There's the whole business side.
It's a
to
whole
it.
business side of it.
Yeah.
And then there's the fun part,
Mhm.
taking pictures,
Taking pic-
which
yeah.
I love doing, which is so much fun.
Well, what was it like? Like you said, you take like any job. You just wanted to do it. Like you knew at that point, like, okay, I got to do something.
Yeah,
So-
this is what I'm going to do. This is
Yeah.
I'm going to start
So
putting
what
all
was
my energy into getting as good as possible and getting better and better with every shoot.
So what was that feeling like on the first few shoots?
I was nervous, but I
Yeah.
knew I had the skills to do it. Like I
Mhm.
knew I knew what I had to do. I knew how to work my camera. I knew good angles to take, but you're still nervous, especially when you first photograph the first wedding or the first
Mhm.
corporate event, and you're just dealing with a whole different. It's all on my shoulders at that point,
Right.
especially when it comes to a wedding.
No boss.
Weddings are stressful, yeah.
Uh-huh.
At my point, I consider the bride and the groom, they're my bosses for that night. Whatever
Okay.
they want, whatever they're looking for, I'm going to deliver. I'm going to give it to them.
Yeah.
Also, while providing my creativity to it, my own personal,
Sean
kinda-
Evans touch.
Yes, the little Sean Evans touch, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to, like, if someone was listening or just in the room, like, they're a photographer and they wanted to start a business, like, what do you think, like, was the biggest unexpected thing to come from, like, hey, I'm starting my business, and, like, what got in the way? You know what I'm saying? Like, what what challenge, or was there any, that was hardest to tackle? Like the business side of it, like the...
Well, I mean, advertising, trying to figure out how to advertise and get my name out there is really big, because it seems like in this business, I pick up a lot of word-of-mouth work, which is great, like I photograph a wedding, and then maybe someone's cousin's getting married, or a friend knows someone who's getting married and they're looking for a photographer.
Right.
And, they just, keep passing my name along, which is great. And, but yeah, advertising was big, just trying to figure out, because there's a lot of scams out there. There's a lot of things, a lot of people want you to pay money, like a lot of money, to try to get your name out there, which I don't necessarily think works anymore. Like, yellow pages or the white pages. Like, no one reads that shit anymore. They go
no
online.
one that's gonna pay for pictures.
So then it's trying to figure out, how do I build a Google presence? How do I build a good website that's going to attract people and properly showcase my work to them? Those were pretty big challenges.
Mm-hmm.
But once you learn it, and once you kind of get it down, once you kind of figure out what people are looking for, and if you specialize in a certain area of photography, like I pretty much specialize in real estate photography, and once you kind of get in working with realtors, you kind of figure out what they're looking for, what they want, and you work with a couple of different types of realtors. Some of them are very, very picky. They're only picky because they're dealing with the homeowner, which is very, very picky, so it's like they're passing that pressure down onto you, and you just have to, deliver what they're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's cool, me being Sean's friend and seeing him before, just work and do photography on the side, and now it's like his full-time gig, and I work for Costco. I'll just say it.
Yeah.
I'll just say it. I'm a Costco employee. But, I have like a rigid schedule. I answer to many bosses. My days off change during the week and stuff like that. And, there is some freedom in it, but it's not the same freedom.
Yeah.
And, I'm always a big advocate of Sean's lifestyle, even if he's down on himself.
Yeah, I know. Well, and I think originally, my dad, he owns his own construction business, and growing up, I just could see that there's a freedom that comes with being your own boss. There's a freedom that I yearn for, because I could be a good Costco employee. I did work at Costco for, I don't know, like 8 months or something, 9 months, doing like the shittiest work possible you can in the store, doing like morning merch. But I couldn't stand having so many different people telling me what to do and contradicting each other. It just drove me insane. It's like, I know my job, I know what I need to do. You can just give me some quick instruction. If you something specific, I'll get it done, I'll do it, but I don't need to be micromanaged.
Yeah.
And that's like a micromanaged type of place.
101.
101.
Yeah. I think lately I've been thinking about the fact that there are, especially being at work and observing, that there are just certain personality types that are independently minded and responsible, and in that responsibility take responsibility for themselves and their job. And I think that I'm one of those people too. So when you see people around you who have to be led, nothing wrong with that. Some people really enjoy that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that there's anything wrong with that, but for a person like me or like Sean, like we're just not going to be happy, fully potentially happy, taking orders when we already know what to do on it.
And that could be in any relationship, If you had an overbearing girlfriend, it'd drive you nuts, drive you crazy.
Exactly. That's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
The relationship issue.
Insert sound effect.
Yeah. No, but we got a lot of big plans for this podcast. A lot of interesting ideas, I think, we floated around.
And we live in San Diego. San Diego's an amazingly diverse, beautiful city. And
lots of Mexican food.
Lots of good Mexican food.
Lots of girls.
Lots of Latinas. Spicy Latinas.
A lot of girls.
Booty, booty, booty. Yeah, this is a great city, and we're basically in our prime. I don't consider late 20s being you're getting old or anything, but
We're certainly not in our early
we're not.
20s.
Yeah, we're not going to go out to PB. Well, at least I'm not. I don't feel like going out to PB anymore and just dancing. Not that I really dance, but you get drunk.
Thinking
enough
about
and,
dancing.
Yeah, thinking about dancing, getting drunk enough and moving my arms a little bit.
White guy sway.
Yeah, the wine guy swag, which I got down. Which I also
Which
Rick Astley, never gonna give you up.
The whole Rick
never
Astley
let
routine.
you down. Yeah, that dance.
That might not be a bad thing to try.
Yeah, yeah.
Someone will get
It's a
it.
classic, you bring it back.
I went out to the dance floor one time and rolled the dice a bunch of times. And some
Oh,
girl
yeah?
was like, "Oh,
Snake
you rolling the
eyes."
dice? You rolling the dice?" And I was like, "Yeah."
She rolled the dice with you?
She did. And I gave her a high
Nice.
five, and I,
Sweet.
could have went somewhere with it, but I
Coulda, yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
believe someone high fived me over rolling the dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. San Diego is too beautiful and too diverse to have cabin fever.
Yeah, exactly.
And more, I find myself in my apartment just like, what am I doing?
Yeah, and that's going to be the point of this podcast, is to help us get a little bit out there. It's going to motivate us to go to check out new bars, new restaurants, maybe go check out an event, definitely go to concerts. We both thoroughly enjoy live music, so
Yeah.
I'd love to go to shows, give our own little reviews of restaurants and movies and pretty much everything San Diego has to offer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think yeah, just like that. It's a perfect place to come back to, and I don't know. I just look forward to the creative end of it too, and keeping people informed.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think it gives a certain responsibility to yourself,
Oh,
because you're putting it out there.
Absolutely.
You're not just thinking about it, like we're actually doing it, like right now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
there's so much to action. I'm a thinker. I'm always in my head. I'm thinking. I've got a million things that I want to do, and a podcast was one, and now it's finally happened.
Yeah.
Like we Matt and I collectively came together, and we're like, even though it took a while,
Mhm.
we did finally come together, and now we're sitting here doing this podcast, which was always something that I wanted to do, and now we're doing it, which is freaking great. And now hopefully this will just snowball into a million other things that I want to do creatively, and I'll be able to come back to the podcast and have plenty to talk about, have lots of cool conversations with Matt and with who knows who's going to
Yeah.
come on this thing. Hopefully a lot of people.
Hopefully, a lot of beer experts. That'd be cool.
Love some beer experts.
Yeah, they could bring their own. They'll have suggestions.
Yes. Yeah.
Do and then like Sean was just saying earlier, doing some brewery tours because
Yeah.
beer is so huge everywhere right now, but it's
Yeah.
huge in San Diego.
Definitely in San Diego.
In
for
fact,
sure.
someone told me we're about to approach 100 different breweries in San Diego alone.
No shit.
They call it the century mark.
Whoa.
Yeah. So,
I didn't realize there was that many.
I know. I
Damn.
think that includes like
Restaurant
microbrews,
breweries and microbrews.
microbrews,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
nano breweries,
Oh.
which people are doing like out of their home, but still
But still getting it
out
into
there.
places where they can sell it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is something new I didn't even know about
Yeah.
until a customer at my work mentioned that he does one and
That's
gave me
cool.
the info for it. So
Well, you watched Breaking Bad, right? What was it? Schrader beer or something? What was it?
oh yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I know he makes his own
Okay,
beer.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably a mineral beer.
Yeah.
Minerals, they're minerals.
Well, I've homebrewed.
That's right.
I believe 3 or 4 batches, and they've all turned out really good. I've actually got some California. I guess it's California ale is what the mixture is, like all the different ingredients that I have right now, and that's what I'm gonna get ready to brew up next. So you guys can look forward to that. Me and Matt will taste test the new stuff, and
Yeah, we can go over the process too.
yeah,
you know.
go over the whole process. It's so much fun, and if there's now 100 different breweries here in San Diego, that only means little home brew stores are going to start popping up, which is great for the economy. That's really cool. I mean, because it's not like corporate yet, it's
Yeah.
it's homegrown, it's home brewed, it's I don't know.
Yeah.
I lost my
It's
thought.
so
I lost my train of thought.
it's so yeah, it's all those
good to
things.
shoots.
It's all those things.
Very good to shoots.
Yeah.
But no, I mean that only means with more beer, more home brews. It's going to be more good conversation, more good brews. It's going to be taste testing and Oktoberfests and all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, and one of my good friends, he is such a huge beer guy. In fact, it's Chaz. You know Chaz.
Definitely have him on then.
And he, just to give you an idea how big of a beer guy is, he recently, there was the number 1 rated beer on Beer Advocate. And he said basically it's like a website. I don't know if you've been on it, Beer Advocate.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, and they take, like, they rank all the beers in the country, and there's like a top 200, and this one brewed and the Alchemist, they're called the Alchemist, it's either Head Hopper or Head Topper, brewed in Vermont, and they only brew a little bit of it. Anyway, he basically bought a can off the black market here in San Diego because he got word through Facebook that they had it. So he
there's a
down.
black market for home, like,
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
That's
me
cool.
neither. But then when he started telling about it, it makes a whole lot of sense because it's like these beers, they come highly rated. There's only a certain amount, so people are flipping them like they would any collector's item.
Wow.
Buying
okay.
it at cost, raising the demand and selling it anyway. So this was like a $15 can of beer. Anyway, so, I mean, he'd be a good person to have on, and just to give us suggestions for beers we'd never heard of. Like, literally, I went to the liquor store before the podcast, and I just stared at the wall of microbrew, and I was like, oh, this beer has a river on it. I'm going to get it. It'll be a good jump-off point.
Oh, yeah. That would be fun. It would be cool to take Chaz to, one of those liquor stores that just have an insane menu of beers, stuff you've never heard of, and take him there and have him kind of shop us around, maybe, give any knowledge he might have on any, specific stuff, and I would love to try it.
I think that's a good point because, like, for me, like, I've just been getting into microbrew and beer, and it's such a big thing in San Diego, it's just, like, it's overwhelming. It's like, where do you start, and you feel like, oh, not as cool, not as hep. I don't know all the beers like that, but it'd be good to have a little guide, and then we can take you guys with us.
Yeah, and I would highly recommend anyone who has Netflix or anything like that. There's a show called Brewmasters.
I just watched it.
It's really, really good. And unfortunately, there's only 1 season and only 5 episodes, but it's really, really great. And basically, they follow around the owner of Dogfish Head Brewery, and it's really, really fascinating because Dogfish Head, they make really unique brews. I mean, they really try to strive to put out a unique product, and every year they try something different, and they bring it all around to these beer fests, but there's always a limited amount of beer that they can actually get out there, and they are really, it's a really fascinating show to watch, to see their journey and like see what can go wrong during the process of brewing, and you're out thousands and thousands of dollars if you mess up anything, temperature, if the yeast isn't doing what it's supposed to do, and you're done.
Yeah.
And you're out there, gallons and gallons of good beer.
Well, I thought what was also interesting about that show is the creative process. It really, like, they'll bring in a specific episode. They had people from Grain Surfboards who make surfboards out of like recycled wood and stuff like that.
Right.
They were
using
that.
I'm pretty sure it was the cedar wood, and it's specifically, I think it was Oregon. Was it Oregon?
I don't know.
Maybe Maine.
Maine. I want to say
Maine.
Maine.
It was Maine. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And what they did with this brew was they infused the cedar chips with I think it was a Saison beer or something they already had, but they did all these different taste tests, adding that cedar flavor to these different brews and different recipes they already had, and through a process of elimination and taste testing, they narrowed it down and then made this cool signature beer by using this recycled wood from these really cool surfboards these guys make up in Maine. And that's badass. And to me, that's like a cool joining of two completely different, aspects of life, entities. Yeah. It's so badass.
Yeah, and what I thought was cool too is they brought the guys from Grain in.
Yeah.
They allowed them to be part of the process, and you were along for the ride.
Yeah.
Like this is how they infuse flavor into beer, and this is how they make special brew. Great. That's a great show. I plowed through all 5 episodes.
Yeah,
it was so fascinating. It's a reality show hokey, but it's
Yeah.
it's not that bad. It's funny. Like the hokiness is funny.
Yeah. The first couple episodes, like they're doing this crazy like little raps and
Yeah.
little shit like that. But it's like it's fun, whatever. They're doing their thing. It's a little corny, but it's really informative and just it's a fun 5 episodes. You just breeze quickly through it and you learn a lot about beer.
And a fun introduction to microbrew. And what was interesting, I thought, because that show came out 3 years ago, and they were talking about how microbrew has increased exponentially.
Oh yeah.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, imagine what it is now.
Yeah, I hope they overtake Budweiser and all these shitty beers that
That's right.
get passed as real beer. It's just watered down bullshit. Now.
They said that in the show. They said that microbrew, at least 3 years ago, with all the breweries, still only account for like 5% of the alcohol sales. And
which blows my mind.
blows your mind, but I'm willing to bet it's a lot higher now.
Oh, it's
I
gotta
want
be.
to say
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be.
And there's also another really great documentary on Netflix. I believe it's called "How Beer Saved the World."
I've heard
I'm pretty
of that.
sure that's
I
what it's
saw
called.
that.
And that's basically it's a whole historical account of beer, which basically originated back in Egypt, probably even way before that. But definitely recommend watching that. You too, Matt. Watch it
Yeah, I know.
tonight, Matt.
I'll
No,
get
just
on.
whenever you can get to it.
Yeah.
It's really really fascinating and makes you think like, oh wow, this is a little more important than say gunpowder or other crazy shit. I mean, beer really evolved us along into where
Huh.
we are today.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, and it keeps evolving, just like
Mm-hmm.
with these home brews. There will be a day, and I really hope that the corporations don't, which they have, they try to slow the process of these home brews, making an impact on their beer sales,
Mhm.
but flavor will override,
Yeah.
marketing and all that other shit that, Budweiser and what other companies are there besides Budweiser?
Well, basically,
Don't they own
Budweiser and
everything?
like Coors own everything.
Yeah,
As it goes, I mean, Coors acquired Miller, and
yeah.
and it's a good point though, and also on that, it's our generation that's coming up, and people younger than us coming
Yeah.
up are now just have so many options when it comes to beer.
Oh yeah.
And it's funny because when I'll talk to like the older guys at my work, we'll talk about beer, and they'll just be like, "Well, I'm a Coors guy. I don't need any of that shit. I don't need that fancy shit." And like it's a whole like that's what they're used to.
Yeah,
You try to
yeah.
give them some good IPA, and they spit it out. And that they'll go away eventually.
Oh yeah, just like any older generation, they're a little stubborn to
Adapt.
adapt or,
Yeah, or-
try
or
new
expand their
things,
palate, yeah.
definitely expand their palate. That's
Mhm.
yeah.
And you can't be that. You can't be stuck in the cabin of beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't get stuck in a cabin. Note that.
Right.
Make a shirt, people.
What time is it? All right, I'll note it.
Pen.
That'll be one. That's good. We should have entire episodes dedicated to beer and the craft.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I know.
if
I
we
know.
have Chaz
I can,
on,
I can think of
a
at
whole
least a
episode of
couple
beer.
people that
Yeah.
I know. I know one guy that works for a brewery.
Mhm.
And it's a small town in Ramona, our hometown.
Oh, I would
And-
love that.
And
yeah,
I'm
we're
sure-
from Ramona. I don't know if you
I
know
don't.
what that
Yeah,
is.
we live in San Diego, but Ramona's like a small town on the outskirts of Ramona.
Very rural. I mean, you wouldn't think San Diego. If you think Ramona, you don't think you think of beaches and SeaWorld and shit like that.
Yeah.
Ramona's not that. It's a cow town. It's a horses. And
horse town.
very rural. There's no economy there. There's nothing.
No, it's
we're not producing anything. It's just
people
where
move out
people
there.
go to escape city life.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
a good way to put it. It's
Yeah.
mostly like not even a suburb, but no.
Yeah. It's its own entity.
Yeah.
Unincorporated town.
Mhm.
But it's
But hey, they
growing.
have their
It
own
gets
brewery.
bigger and bigger. It's there.
Yeah,
Yeah, if they got a brewery, that's awesome.
and they recently acquired a hookah bar,
Ah,
which is cool.
We
too.
should go.
I've been meaning to go.
We should do it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Check it out.
Be all critical.
Yeah. Hookah snobs.
We're from San Diego.
Yeah.
We have hookah bars at every corner.
We'll be the oldest people there. It'll just be high school kids on a Friday night.
Freshies, 18,
Yeah,
just turned
yeah.
18, can smoke hookah. I think I have a weird passion for hookah. I love going to like liquor stores, you know, and they'll have hookah stuff, and I'll just stand there and talk hookah with, you know,
With the guy?
with the, you know, what country would they be from?
Oh,
I mean, Iraq. And,
Yeah, Iraq,
and you know, the
um,
Middle East,
Middle
where
East.
hookah's big, you know,
Yeah.
big part of their culture, and it's cool because they'll like, you know, once they figure out that oh, this guy does like hookah, you know, they'll take you in, give you suggestions and stuff like that, and how to properly fix up a hookah. You know, it became more of like a party thing to have a party to like
Oh,
an
yeah.
actual like thing that I will prepare and make up for social gatherings. I think that's
Oh, yeah.
what's super important about it.
Well, every party you had, someone, either you set your hookah up or I brought mine and set mine up, and that was always like a good central point for people to just kind of congregate, hang out by the hookah, maybe go, you know, spread out, play some beer pong, come back to the hookah. It's always a good social get together, have a good conversation, have a couple of beers, and, you know, pack a couple of different bowls, mix it up.
Put
Add
your
some-
weed in it.
Put
some
little
weed in it.
salad, little hookah salad, sprinkle it.
Tastes good.
Yeah.
A lot of good flavor.
Oh yeah. Get
Yeah,
some
I'm sh-
buzz on.
I'm sure we'll have a whole episode. Well, you wanted little weed segments? Talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
weed?
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
cannabis is big here in San Diego, too.
Very big here in San Diego. It's still much more conservative when you compare it to, like, say, Los Angeles or, you know, further north of California. San Diego is a very conservative town. Comes to, you know, a lot of militaries here, so they're still kind of regulated when it comes to dispensaries and weed and all that
Mhm.
culture, but it's growing
It's
every
big.
single year. It's getting bigger and bigger.
Mhm.
I think everyone's smoking weed nowadays. At least our generation. If you don't smoke weed, I think you're very accepting of people who do smoke weed because it's not that. It's not that crazy, you know.
Go ahead.
It's not like that. This you know, crazy drug that's gonna make you go insane, or
Yeah.
you know, if you use it properly, you're not gonna be a lazy asshole and just hang out and eat potato chips all day.
Yeah.
You know.
I think even over the course of time that I've been smoking weed, which is probably off and on,
Off and on,
for
yeah.
like 6 years,
Uh-huh.
7 years or so, you know, at first I know what I noticed is like there's a certain personality type that would smoke weed, you
Mhm.
know, socially, like a little
Right.
more introverted type
Oh
character.
yeah. I mean that
Come
definitely
together
helps
over weed.
curb that anxiety,
Mhm.
and that's what I use it for a lot, quite a lot actually.
But in like I think like especially over the past 3 years, it's become so much more open.
Mhm.
Like I just got my medical card.
Right.
It's easy to attain. You know,
Yep.
it's become easier to attain, and it's become more freeing because you're not visiting some shady guy in a freaking
Oh,
Stater
yeah.
Brothers parking lot.
I remember those days.
But I think it's so much more in the open, and now I come across just like all kinds of personality types that enjoy
Right.
smoking weed, and
Yeah.
I think it's, you know, for most people that don't care, it's just like cracking a beer open at the end of the day. You know,
Exactly.
and I
Yeah.
know that's what it is for me.
Oh yeah.
So, endless cannabis talk. We can have endless.
Endless.
Legalization here. Yeah, we're almost at 45 minutes.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow, we're doing good.
Yeah, I
Hell
think
yeah.
this is good.
Fuck yeah.
I think it's definitely flowing.
Well, I mean, yeah, this is our inaugural podcast. This is the pilot. This is just to see where we're gonna go, what it's gonna sound like. Who knows what the sound really sounds like? Hopefully, it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna this. You know, this is just us leaving the harbor.
Yeah.
This is just
Jump off.
cabin fever. Just, you know,
Cracking the window.
cracking that window. You know, getting out there. And, you know, we're going to figure out the glitches. We're going to figure out the sound. We're going to start adding, you know, sound effects. We'll have little segments each week. You know, Matt will do something about music. I'll do something about music. He'll do something about hookah. I'll do something about hookah. It doesn't matter. We'll all come together, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I can't believe 40 minutes.
I know.
45 minutes already. That's
What do you
awesome.
think we
Time
should?
flies. I love it.
We should wrap something up. We should.
Okay.
What do you? I don't know. What are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts?
Yeah. What would you say? Cabin Fever.
Cabin
2014.
Fever.
We're in it. We're in it right now.
Yeah, we're in it right now. I'm jazzed.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I could keep going. Like I
Yeah.
feel like it's only been 5 minutes.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful medium. And it's going to be
Yeah.
something we have to keep coming back to every week.
Definitely. Yeah. This is our plan. We're going to start doing hopefully a weekly podcast, and then who knows where it'll go from there. We don't want to oversaturate it, and we just want to be comfortable. But yeah. I think a nice weekly, fun podcast. We'll get together, do an hour and a half, whatever it might end up being.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. What about you? What do you?
Man, I'm
what are your
excited.
thoughts? Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm really pumped. I texted Sean today, wanting to hang out.
Yeah.
And all through my mind today was like, you know what? We just need to do it. That's it.
Yeah. I'm really. Yeah. When I got that text and you're like, you want to do a podcast? I'm like, oh, are we gonna do it?
Yeah.
It's gonna be it.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Because we were talking about going out tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna do Taco Tuesday.
Yeah. And I just said, hey, let's bust out a podcast.
Yeah.
And you were like,
here we
let's
are.
do it.
Yeah.
I was waiting too by the phone. I'm like, is he down? Is he down? I was like, all right.
Hell yeah, I'm
Gotta
down.
do it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So cool. So cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been fun.
It has.
Yeah.
Are we gonna wind it down and call it a number one?
I think this is good.
Yeah.
I think we should wind it
I'm
down
very
and then
happy with it, yeah.
then we can discuss it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, Tuesday, October 23rd, or right?
22nd.
22nd. Okay.
Yep.
Gosh.
Oh.
2013. I know this. We're at Sean's Bungalow. This is Cabin Fever podcast number 001.
Yeah. 001.
All right. Signing off.
Get back. I'm alright, Jack. Keep your hands off of my stack. Money, it's a hit. Don't